Please tell me I'm not the only one that was laughing when I saw Demonic Justice crying. Oh my god, I'm sorry. It may sound like I'm cruel or not, but you know how I feel about her character. I can't stand her so much after what she did on episode 6, if I believe. So, seeing her cry in tears in this episode, I was like, 10 out of 10 fucking episode, 10 out of 10 fucking episode. I'm sorry, I had to, okay? Anyways, Esdes is in this episode. Once again, I'm glad we got our Esdes back in this episode, and we get to find out more about her personality in this episode. For one thing, I am really shocked to find out that this sadistic woman, Esdes, that would go out and try to rape people, for instance, make an entire village get raped by her own men, would actually have compassion for her own bodyguards, her own subordinates. For instance, seeing her actually, comfort Demonic Justice in this episode was really shocking. I did not expect her character to actually care about her subordinates. I mean, she showed signs of this, yes, but I mean, it's really shocking seeing how evil of a woman she is, can actually turn around and care for her subordinates. So, yeah, I am really shocked. You can even see that she was actually sad for Dr. Stylish being dead. She actually kind of missed him, or at the very least cared somewhat for his death. So it shows that her character is not just gloom and gloom. She's not just an evil character. She actually has a very different mindset. She may be evil, but she does care about her friends. So I like that a lot. I like that a lot about Esdes' character so far from what I've seen, and it definitely makes her character a lot more respectable as a villain too. From a villain standpoint, I respect her a lot more because she actually does care about her own subordinates, her own bodyguards. So right there, that definitely moved up a couple points in Esdes' category for my eyes. So besides that, we see a bunch of Night Raid this episode. We get to see what's going on with them. We get to see the new Night Raid members. For instance, Susano and Chelsea. I think that's her name. Chelsea. I'm just going to say Chelsea for this review. Sorry if I mess it up. But anyways, Susano, fucking boss. This dude was a boss last episode, okay? He was kicking ass and destroying and taking names later. He was doing that to Dr. Stylish. But in this episode, we find out another personality trait to Susano that shocked me. He is like a housemaid. He cooks, he cleans, he is like Symmetry. He's pretty much like Def the Kid. I mean, he's like Symmetry. He has to make sure everything's nice and neat, like what he did to different characters in this episode, like what he did to Tatsumi at the beginning of this episode, how he, fixed his shirt. So it's so funny how Susano is like that. This badass fucking character that was ripping through people and kicks ass is like that. He has a trait with his personality to where he's like, everything has to be neat, clean, tidy. He can make a fucking house from trees. He can do anything. He can cook. Susano reminds me so much of Bulat. I'm just gonna say it right now. He really does. Susano pretty much reminds me of him, the way he acts, or some form of his personality reminds me of Bulat a lot. And I love the development of Susano's character. He's just a really unique character that I'm starting to grow rather fond of in this series, because this is just so fucking badass, getting to see how he acts in this episode. Now, Chelsea. Her character is very interesting. I like her entire backstory. From what I've seen from her backstory, she definitely has a lot more to tell, but I find it very interesting and intriguing what we do find out. Supposedly, she used to be a part of another team of assassins, most likely, and they were wiped out and killed while she was on a job. And it's sad to find this out, because she actually probably really cared about her, fellow teammates, her friends. They're probably close friends she's known for a long time, and they got killed while she was gone, and she probably blames herself for why she couldn't save them. I'm willing to bet we will find out she blames herself for why she couldn't save her own teammates or friends or close best friends in the past, and most likely she's going to overcome this fear or whatever while she's in Night Raid. So I see some character development in the future with Tatsumi and Chelsea later on, because, I mean, you're probably going to see a lot of similarities between Chelsea. She's going to look at her team, like her old team, and look at Night Raid now. Most likely she's going to have a fear that she is going to lose Night Raid. So I see that happening. I call call it right now. I call it that, you know, she's going to have that fear to where she's going to lose all her new friends, like Night Raid, and in turn that might cause her to where she doesn't want to grow connected with other characters because she is fearful of losing them. So, right now, we have 2 unique new characters introduced into Akame ga Kill, and I like them a lot. I really like these 2 new characters. So far, though, Susanoo is my favorite, but I do like Chelsea, the way she acted, and the way she kind of tricked me at the end of this episode. I thought it was Susanoo in the bath, like the spa or whatever, but to find out it was actually her transforming into Susanoo brings up something very interesting. It shows more about her abilities. She displays that her Imperial arm, her Tegu, can transform into other things. Like, for instance, it can transform into a cat, like a danger beast, and stuff like that. It can also transform into another Imperial arm, like Susanoo in this episode. So, it seems like she can actually transform into Imperial arms. As it was stated in this episode, Susanoo is an organic or organism-type Tegu, so I'm guessing he's just a living, breathing Tegu. Like, you know, Koro, you know, the little fucking demon dog. Well, pretty much with this, we find out that she can transform into other Tegus, if I'm correct. For instance, she can transform into non-living objects, like a chair or something, or a fucking dagger or knife, and she could trick anyone. Like, for instance, what if she, you know, tried to transform into some random object, like a piece of paper, and could be carried around into the capital? She could learn a lot of information. She definitely has a devastating ability as an assassin. Out of all the abilities I've seen from the different Tegus and stuff, I think her ability is a great assassin weapon. She definitely has the meaning of an assassin, because an assassin, in my eyes, is a person that's supposed to hide in the background, hide in the shadows, transform into other things, or try to have a lot of stealth. Exactly what Chelsea has in this episode, or what she demonstrates. For instance, she was able to trick Mine in this episode with being a danger beast. She tricked her, stole her cake, and I mean, what if Chelsea would have been, you know, a Jaeger or something? What if she would have been someone from the capital like Esdes? I mean, Mine would have just died right there. So it shows you how strong Chelsea's ability can be. I mean, if she has some form of poison or whatever on her, and she could transform into, let's say, you know, like a dagger or whatever, she can easily do a fatal blow to someone. Now, like I said, it truly hasn't been explained if she could transform into, like, you know, a non-living object. I mean, of course, the Tegu she transformed into Susanoo is technically a living Tegu, so I don't know how that's going to work. It needs more explanation, but either way, I find it intriguing how her ability is. And so, 2 interesting concepts for these characters. The character designs of them are really amazing. I do like the character designs, and the voice actor of Chelsea is enjoyable. I love her voice actor, and her laugh is just, it made me roll on the floor. I was like, oh my god, that laugh is just so funny, and the way she has that lollipop all the time. Now, there was a couple of comedy moments in this episode that definitely made me laugh a bit. For instance, when you had Chelsea try to persuade Akame with food or a lollipop, for instance, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. It's just, that is so great. That was so great when you saw Akame's like, ooh, I can have a lollipop. I was just like, really? Really? It's just, ugh. So funny. It's so funny. I mean, Akame most likely get killed later on in the future if she falls for a random person trying to offer candy. Like, Akame, have you ever not been told when you were a child you never accept candy from a stranger? I mean, you should know this. You never accept candy from a stranger. Anyways, besides that, we also get to see a little bit of foreshadowing in this episode. For instance, the foreshadowing Esdes does in this episode. She's the one that's doing it. She states that, like, there's something else going on here. Like, she senses something. Like, there's going to be the final war between Night Raid and the Jaegers, or something else is going on behind the scenes. There's just a lot of stuff building up, or she's going to meet Tatsumi very soon. I mean, there's a lot of foreshadowing, and most likely what we can see from the ending of this episode is that the Jaegers and Night Raid are eventually going to have a battle. Probably a major life or death battle very soon. Very soon in the series. I sense it maybe in about 4 or 5 episodes from now, because the way it was displayed in this episode, it definitely foreshadows at those events. Now, at the end of the episode, we are introduced to this new character. I don't know his name. He looks very intriguing for what I see from his character design. He has his hood on, he has this weird smile, and it looks like he's able to control danger beasts. So, this danger beast he's able to control looks really intriguing, because they look like a humanoid-type monster, creature, whatever, and they're devouring people. Like, we get to see, like, some straight-out violence in this episode, like, you know, how they freaking bite into a dude's head, and you see the blood and gore come out, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks so badass, it's just so sick. So, I will actually have to comment on something about that. Akame ga Kill has done a great job with its censors. I mean, like, this episode did you see those sensors? No? Because I know for a fact I didn't. Because, I mean, when you see those danger beasts get cut in fucking half, like when you see those dogs or whatever, or those raptor dogs, or whatever you want to fucking call them, they get cut in half and you see their spine and all that, I was like, damn, that's not even fucking censored. It's just, it shocked me. It shocked me so much how it wasn't censored. So I'm glad Akame ga Kill is not getting censored, because this is good shit that we're starting to see. So, overall, great episode, a lot of setup and build-up for upcoming events for Akame ga Kill. Interested to see more of Chelsea's abilities and Susanoo's abilities, and does, Susanoo remind you a lot of Bulat? Let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much, and please try not to spoil nothing, because as you all know, I'm an anime-only watcher, so I want to stay like that as much as I can. So, please be safe. Chibi out.